For over 400 years, they've developed their own mysterious traditions. For over 400 years, they've had a strict code of honor and unparalleled standards of respect. For over 400 years, they have terrorized the streets of Japan. Now, they want to control the city of Los Angeles. Determined to leave their mark in blood. Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee are ready for a showdown in Little Tokyo. They're two LA cops who are hungry for a little takeout. Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee.
And welcome everyone to Bullets,
Bourbon,
and Karate. I'm Adam Archer.
I'm Mark Hall.
And this week's episode is Showdown
in Little Tokyo.
I am a kid in a candy store with this movie. Ooh. Welcome everyone to Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate. We're doing Showdown in Little Tokyo, and
Yes, we are.
Fucking rage excited for this movie.
Take some pills, man.
No, man, I can't. I will take pills, and those pills would be badass pills from this movie.
Yes.
Oh, man, I can't wait to dive into it. This is a big one for me. So let's go ahead and get some of the housekeeping out of the way. Well, you can find us on Facebook at Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate. Where else can they find us, Marcus?
They can find us on Instagram and Twitter at BB&K or BB Karate Podcast. Mm-hmm. And then Gmail, you can always send us an email, hate mail, fun mail, sweet mail, any mail that you choose at bbkaratepodcast@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. And, this week, Marcus, one of the big things about this movie that I love, that is Showdown in Little Tokyo, I think the poster is just about as badass as you can get.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the poster, the intro, I mean, a lot of build-up before you actually see the movie of what, 8-year-old me, whenever I saw it, was very excited. The reason I was excited to see it, too.
Me, too. And, in fact, I want someone to win a prize.
Okay.
I want someone to win a prize. So, what I'd like to have people do is, on Twitter, if you tweet at us, at BB Karate Podcast, of you trying to recreate the poster with you and your friends, you can do it in the shower, you can do it, or, I'm sure you have to be clothed in some way, you can do it in a mirror, however you want to do it. You don't have to be holding swords or anything, but be creative. Yeah. How can you recreate the poster for Showdown in Little Tokyo? Because I love this poster. Okay. Go ahead and tweet at us at BB Karate Podcast, and we'll choose the one we like the most, or just the one that made us laugh the most. Doesn't mean it's better. We're all winners here, like T-Ball. Yeah. So come on and get at us at BB Karate Podcast.
Yeah, because they're going to need 3 good friends to do that with.
Yeah.
Two other good friends. 2 other good friends. Yeah.
Or maybe they use animals. I don't know. I don't want to limit what
animals.
They do.
Yeah.
If you get your cat to stay... Whatever you can get. You got a baby, you're house sitting, whatever you got, lay it on us at BB Karate Podcast at Twitter. So we are doing Showdown in Little Tokyo. Marcus, do you remember seeing this movie as a child?
I do, vividly. We talked about it, and of course, which there's many a scene which are engraved into your mind as a child.
To a young child, yes.
Yeah, a lot that go over your head, a lot that take off your head.
Yes.
What a girl gets her head cut off because she was doing crack in a Yakuza den. Bam.
Yes.
But that's about I vividly remember seeing it and being amazed and scared shitless too at the same time.
I assumed you watched it on video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was not a lot of people saw it in theaters.
No.
And maybe they didn't want to. But do you remember where you were when you saw it?
I do. I was at a friend's house when I saw it first because I think it was his dad's movie that we had. I think that they had either bought it or rented it. I can't remember, but he had it at his place, and we were watching some other movies. I was staying the night. We turned that puppy on, popped it in, and it was just, God, it's a striking of the senses, all of it.
It is. I mean,
what about you? Do you remember where you were?
I believe I was at my house. I'm pretty sure
Alone?
I just rented
in a room.
I'm pretty sure in my room I had a VCR. I don't think this is when I watched with my mother or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure in Georgia I rented this, and I got to see this one. But you saying that story reminded me, like, isn't that the way it is? Like, there's so many movies we see it as a kid that we got to see at friends' houses, and this is such a good movie for that. Like, you know, a lot of kids aren't going to be allowed to watch this movie, but if you go to a friend's house, you know, maybe they rented it, maybe they're part of that Columbia movie house where they get 10 movies for a penny every month or whatever it was, old school Netflix.
It's seeing it. There's a couple of things when you see it at a friend's house, you're automatically put in this position as a younger kid that you have to, you can't act scared, of course. You have to act like everything is cool, and you can't. Yeah. You have to save face. Like, you can.
And if you are scared, you have to laugh at the fear.
Right. You got to laugh at the fear all the time. Like, oh, that's nothing. I've seen worse, today when I, in class, I saw something.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then I remember just after seeing this movie, and already, like, immediately, again, which we'll talk about the decapitation, like, I was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble here. Like, I'm going to have to put on a brave face. Then I'm going to have to walk 5 houses down after I get done watching this movie and go home. And just, my parents are going to look like I just watched, Platoon or something like that. And
they're going to know.
Yeah, but it was good just that release after walking out of Kenneth's door, watching that movie that night, that I could just let it all come out again and just cry all the way home while I was walking down the street.
Did you cry after watching this movie?
No, but I was very...
You were shaken.
I was shaken. I had seen shit. I had been in the shit. I had that... Nobody should have messed with me. Nobody did mess with me, thank God. Right. But I felt like in a way that I could take on somebody, but I definitely didn't want to take on somebody, And
this movie certainly showed that you were not ready to take on someone.
No, I was not.
That happened with me with the first time I ever saw Predator. I was at a friend's house because I was in Alabama, which means I was at my dad's. So I wasn't allowed to watch it, and it had been out for certainly a long time. I was probably close to 11 at this point, but my friend had it because he had that Columbia clearinghouse, whatever it's called, where they got 6 movies a month for a penny, however they did it. And he was like, "You want to watch Predator?" He apparently loved the movie, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll watch Predator. I've seen it a bunch, but I'll watch it."
And did you know about Predator?
I knew it was a monster movie. I remember the trailer for it, like seeing it for movies or on TV. So I knew it was a monster movie, and I lied that I had seen it a bunch just because he had said he had saw it so much.
Right.
I didn't know I don't do well with horror movies, so I didn't know what I was in for, and I suffered. It's a movie that sits with you in many ways. There's certain scenes in Predator that stick with you, just like there's certain scenes in this wonderful movie that we're here to talk about, and that's Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate. And as always, we are Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate, which means every week we pair a movie with our drink of choice. We either base that off of maybe, what do we think the characters would drink, or what else, Marcus?
Yeah, characters, villains, I mean, the whole atmosphere, just like, what do we get from the vibe of the movie? What would these guys, what would these girls, whoever we're talking about, what would they drink on a night off?
And so we've done, we had the Navy Strength Gin for Under Siege. We had Miller High Life for Tremors. And for this, I think
what do we got, Adam?
Well, it's only fitting. It's such a large part of the movie. The way they figure out to distribute meth to the world, or this new type of meth that makes ice. This is ice. So they decide they're going to distribute ice. This is not a spoiler. If you haven't seen this movie, check it out. But this isn't a huge spoiler. But they're just decided they're going to distribute ice with beer at a Red Dragon Brewery, a Japanese beer company. So what I have, one of the more... maybe the second most to Asahi beer. Asahi beer is Sapporo. I'm sipping from a pint. I bought it in a pint. I think I think it fits well. The beer is such a huge part of this movie. What do you think, Marcus?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first, I tell you what, before we even get into it, can I crack this open? You got the bottle, so I'm sure no sound will be made from that.
But I don't know, but let's see.
Crack. There we go.
I'm trying to open mine with a bottle opener as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
What are your first thoughts on that taste there, Marcus?
I mean, the first thing that I think about whenever I taste Sapporo is, and maybe this because I'm still chilling mine right now when I'd gone to go get beer, so the fridge wasn't working quite as well as it should. But the first thing I think about is like almost like a Heineken taste to it for me.
Yeah. It's very international beer.
Yeah. And I do love Japanese beer, Japanese whiskey, but I think that it's definitely more of that sophistication to where it doesn't taste as sophisticated, or it's not as many notches above like Miller High Life, which we've done, or Yellow Bellies, or Coors Banquet, or something like that. But it's just a peg above Coors Banquet for me. It tastes like.
So. Interesting. It's a little higher up that for me. There was a place called B. Merrill's in Columbus, Georgia, where I'm from. And one of their big things was like I forgot what they called it. Basically, they called it like a beer passport, and they had over 150 beers, and your goal was to try all of them, right?
Yeah.
And I know that they had some Japanese beer, so that was my first experience with it. You certainly begin to feel world traveled as a young man in Columbus, Georgia, trying Japanese beer.
Why not?
But I wonder what Red Dragon Brewery, what that beer actually was. Was it going to be like the dry acai dry or the Sapporo? What would be the flavor? Is it dark? Is it a light? I'm picturing a crisp, lovely beer like this Sapporo here.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that when I went to Benny's today. There's a little plug, but I went to Benny's when I was going to go get some beer, and I was actually, before I'd gone this morning, I was looking online, and there actually is a Red Dragon Brewing Company.
What?
And I was looking for that beer to see if I could find it anywhere, and if Benny's, I'd be able to find it, but no, I could not find it anywhere. But yeah, so
I guess if Benny's doesn't have it, we're going to be.
And they're out of Virginia, actually, Fredericksburg, Virginia. So we might have to at them and see if hey, where are you guys selling at, so we can try some of this sometime.
Why don't you ship us some cases?
Yeah, that's all.
Ship us some kegs. Yeah. So let's talk about this movie, Marcus.
Please.
Like I said, huge fan of this movie. This movie was released August 23rd, 1991.
2 days after young Marcus's birthday. Man.
Oh, what a gift. Its runtime is 79 minutes. This movie was originally longer, a lot longer, but when the first cut came out, Warner Brothers, who produced this, said, "Nah, that's not good. We don't like this at all."
No.
So I believe they made it worse. The director was Mark Lester. He also directed Commando.
Yeah.
I kind of, as I dug into Lester's past and his movies, he's very much a 90s action straight to video McTiernan.
Right.
I think because he directed Commando, he directed this. He's directed Armed and Dangerous, which was an action comedy sort of movie. Class of 1999, which is a sci-fi movie about teachers that come in and sort of wreck shop on. Yeah, it's so good. He directed Firestarter. So this guy is heavy duty.
Ooh, Firestarter scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Oh, really? I've never seen it. Never seen the that's Drew Barrymore, right?
Yeah. The dude? Why can't I think of his name right now? Who am I thinking of?
I don't know. I've never seen the movie.
Big Lebowski. No, the dude. Big Lebowski.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, and I forget who else is in it, but yeah, that movie scared the shit out of me.
Well, this movie went through a lot of different rewrites and eventually settled on this one. Apparently, the original screenplay was less tongue-in-cheek, which I don't think this movie would have been hurt by having less tongue-in-cheek.
So we see this movie now, and I'm really kind of confused by that, because you see this movie now, and it is all tongue-in-cheek, right? I mean, there are some, like we talked about, especially when you're a child watching this, that there are some whoa.
But the violence, the violence and the villainy is there, and it's not tongue in cheek, but everything around